Cool. As a kid, I used to dream about a world and a life of travel, entertainment and connection. The only thing is that in being born with cerebral palsy, I was told that my two biggest challenges would be the way I walk and the way I talk. But I believe that every one of us is presented with a challenge in life. Some challenges are more obvious than others, but we need to embrace our challenges to create a base and then leverage our opportunities and our uniqueness to exceed expectations. Imagine that. Exceeding expectation. Becoming more than you or anyone around you could even imagine. I remember at primary school putting my name down for their egg and spoon race. Not really taking into account how messy this could get. Egg, spoon, cerebral palsy. As it nears my turn to bet egg on spoon, I hear my father call out to me, "Cam, over here." So I walk over to Dad, and Dad says, "My boy, you can be whatever you want to be in this world, and if you want to win today, just believe you can." And with that, he spat out a piece of chewing gum. Stuck it on the spoon, put the egg on top and said, "Good luck." Now, not only did I finish the race with the egg intact, I was the only student who defied gravity, crossing the finish line with the egg under my spoon. From this point on, I had a passion for sport. Not because I thought I could get away with cheating. Not because I was hugely competitive. But I was quick to learn that with a fit and healthy body comes a fit and healthy mind where anything is possible. And too many people in this world don't become all that they can be because they are blinded by short-term measures that they can't control rather than focusing on long-term results that they have complete control over. For me to see my cerebral palsy as anything more than a short-term issue would have significantly disabled my quality of life. I just wish I'd always been that positive. Because in the words of Dr. Zeus, hang-ups and bang-ups do happen to us all. And as I was becoming a teenager, they happened to me in the biggest way. You see, I was becoming more aware that I had this thing called a disability. And when I looked out into my community for people who worked and taught like me, well, I didn't see anyone. And when I looked up the word disability in the dictionary, I saw words like weak, can't, unable, mentally retarded and broken. And I started to think to myself, if this is how my dictionary sees me, how does society see me? And on my first day of high school, I've got a school bag the size of a house. And I'm on that school bus, and as I walk off the school bus, I see hundreds, thousands of students, all so big. It's hard to know who's the student, who's the teacher. And I don't know anyone here. And I'm feeling so small. And as I walk through that school gate, someone gives me a wave, and I get hope and possibility. And then I realise they're waving at the person behind me. Finally, I get into that school hall to find out my class, and for the first time in my life, I noticed two groups of students. Those with special needs at the front of the room, and everyone else. Now, I wasn't a part of a special needs group. I didn't feel I had to be, but because I walked funny and talked funny, but other kids didn't know where I belonged. And after a while, I didn't feel like I belonged anywhere. And as days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, I was no longer sleeping with my dreams, but kept awake wondering if I'd ever be competitive in sport, successful in business. Would I ever have a beautiful wife, an amazing home, and a car that goes fast, fast, fast? And at the low of my low, it all became too hard. I started dropping out of sport, I started dropping out of school, and in a big way, I was dropping out of life. Now at this point, my mum and dad don't know what to do. They've tried everything, and in a moment of desperation, my mum digs into a barrel of hope one last time. And as she dug into that barrel, she hit something. She hit something with her mind. And she decided to write a letter to the one person who made me smile. A guy called Jeremy Wells, newsboy from the Havoc TV show, and today the Meridian Energy guy with the big feet. I love this guy. His style, the sports he did, his sense of communication, everything he did, I wanted to do. I would record a show every night that I could, and it would be the first thing I'd watch when I got home from school. And I had no idea that my mum had written a letter to Jeremy. And one day I returned home from a pretty bad day at school, and next to the biscuits and the milk was an envelope from TV New Zealand. And inside that envelope, a 2-page letter from my hero to be newsboy. And he became my hero that day, because as I read the ink of his pen, he's telling me about his experiences at school. How he had always tried to be like everyone else, but as he was getting older, he realised that difference was a good thing. Because the people who count in this world look for those who are different. And now for one thing that frustrated him most about young people was seeing them all trying to be the same. Turning point in my life. From which point on I started to realise that in this big world, I needed to be gooder than good, greater than great. I needed to live for awesome. We all do. We all need to ignore the voice that says I can't, and ignore the one that says I can, by stepping outside our comfort zone and striving towards a personal best each and every day. My personal best would come when I'd changed to a school that inspired me to put my name down for the athletics day. I remember the piece of paper circling for our students to put our names down. I really wanted to do it, but inside my head was a little voice saying, but what will people think? What may they say? What I've come to realise is we can only listen to one voice at a time. And I decided to listen to the voice of my best mate, Lorenzo Bisoni, the Ironman, who suggested I put my name down for the 100 metres. What have you got to lose? Just do it. In those words, the start gun of a school athletics day started a new chapter in my life and put me on my path to finding my strong place in this world. And I left no stone unturned when it came to my athletics. And a year later, I was in the start line of a 100-metre race in Korea. Now, I was a little puzzled at the start of this race, because up until now, all my races have been in English-speaking countries. And I just assumed that English was the international language when it came to sport. I wasn't expecting the start of this race to be in Korean. And when you're in the start blocks, you don't have much time to translate what has been said. Luckily, the gun sounded the same. different, we may talk different, we may think different, but an acceptance of diversity brings about unity. And what we say can either make us stop or make us go. Upon returning from Korea, I was invited to speak to a distinguished group of businessmen and women from our local community. And this was one of my first speeches, and at the end of my talk, the president of the club, a man who personified a lifetime of success, said, "Well spoken, very well spoken." And those words inspired me to go on and represent our country throughout the world, winning championships in New Zealand, Australia and Canada. And what I'm most proud of is this image here. It's a representation of what can be achieved when we see opportunity, clarify purpose, and indeed live for awesome. And I love competition. But I realised that I didn't want my competition to be determined by the abilities of my cerebral palsy, rather governed by who I am as a human being, and that my greatest contribution to this world would not come through what I could do with my walk as a runner, but what I could do through my talk as a speaker. So why do I do what I do? Why do I step outside my comfort zone each and every day to tell simple, lasting human truths? Well, I believe that every single one of us have potential. We all have ambition that needs to be fueled, and that it is dreams that have taken the world to what we see today. And I love it when I hear from a kid in Dunedin who says, "Cam, I want to be an All Black," and after hearing you speak, I believe I can be an All Black. I love it when I hear from the business owner who says we were going through a really tough time, we embraced a whole lot of support and inspiration, you were part of it, and we've just had our best year ever. Or for the grandmother who says, "Thank you for reminding me that I can still dream big." But in contrast to all this positivity, I still get a lot of information sent to me like this. Now, as an inspired society, we can change this. We don't need to be a Martin Luther King or a Mother Teresa. We just need to do what they did by encouraging people to live their dreams by living our dreams. You see, in our sleeping dreams, anything is possible. One moment we can be running through the pyramids of Egypt, the next moment flying above the Niagara Falls or chasing lions through the London Underground. At no point in our sleeping dreams do we ask the question that continually stops us in our waking dreams: how good am I at this? I started speaking 12 years ago, and for 8 years I did what was comfortable, and then I realised that by doing what was comfortable I was underliving life. So I decided to take on New York City. Because in the words of Frank Sinatra, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. The only thing is, I didn't know anyone in New York. And I can promise you no one you can Calkoen. But sometimes dreaming the dream means stepping into environments where we are no one. Because everyone who's always been a part of a journey, they're going to be there. And a measure of success is how many people we can share that journey with. So I wrote an email to everyone I knew telling them about my dream. I even wrote to people who didn't know me. Jay-Z, Beyonce, Donald Trump. I never heard back from any of them. But one day, I reckon I will. Because out of the 250 other emails I wrote, some of them worked. And in a 6-week window, I spoke to 5 of the biggest organizations in New York City. I had 25 meetings with movers and shakers of America's speaking and entertainment industry, and I now speak full-time, traveling, entertaining, and connecting. Connecting people with inspiration, people with dreams, people with people. So what does it look like when you live for awesome? What are your opportunities? And what does it take to attract simple words that inspire big actions? Passion. Be so passionate about what you do that you want to tell the world. Be gooder than good, greater than great. There is a reason for the Olympic Games, Paralympic Games, Hall of Fame, and other accreditations. They don't exist for the naturally elite. They exist for the dreamers, doers, and developers who showcase what is possible when we dream big. What makes you different? Package it up, take it to your community, take it to the world. Live for a purpose beyond yourself. Because our success is not determined by what we achieve individually, but how we learn from our experiences to move, connect, and inspire the lives of others. And yet, if you ever find yourself saying, I don't know what I want to be, ask yourself, what do you want to do? You see, as a kid, if I said, I want to be a runner and I want to be a speaker, I would have been up against all sorts of barriers, mainly due to myself, and my head, and my thoughts. But when I say I want to travel, entertain, and connect, I open myself to the inspiration that surrounds every single one of us each and every day when we choose to see it. And when I stop, then yes, sometimes I do stop, and I ask myself, what would life be like if I believed I was disabled? If I didn't think difference was a good thing? If I hadn't taken my first step as an athlete or spoken my first word as a speaker or thought that dad's idea was silly? Words inspire actions. So let us not wait until someone's name is up in lights. Rather, let's illuminate their day by seeing them for who they are today and who they could be tomorrow by sharing some simple words that inspire big actions. Thank you.